This video is for the knowledge collectors, the perfectionists. If you are the person who knows everything about your problems, you know your beliefs, and you know how energy works, and you've mastered the language of NLP and coaching, and you build a library of insights, you actually can explain your childhood trauma better than any PhD therapist. Or maybe you are even a therapist that have all this knowledge and all this information, but yet still feel stuck in your own body and in your own reactive behavior. You just get it. You are aware of your own actions and everything that is happening in your life. And yet you still feel the same knot in your stomach when you walk into your parents' house. You still feel the same flash of resentment when your partner said that one thing that drives you crazy. You still get triggered and defensive when someone does something that you don't like. You still react on autopilot. And even though you understand it in your mind, you have all the awareness and you know why it happened. You start to analyze it and bring all the awareness, but you don't feel any different. And here is why. Your brain is using information to protect you from transformation. You are drowning in knowing, but you are disconnected from being. Let's share a story. I have a client. She is absolutely brilliant. Let's call her Sarah. She is studying NLP. She wants to be coach. She's incredibly aware. She's very in that rational part of brain, so she loves to analyze everything. Every time we have a session and I point out her pattern or her belief or her behavior, she says the same thing. She says, "Oh, I know. I understand why is it like that, or why my parents act this way." But her behavior, her body doesn't fully integrate all this knowledge. So for me, she doesn't understand it. She may analytically and logically be aware, but she doesn't embody the information. She feels numb. She is disconnected from her emotions. She is living in the body that is vibrating 20-year-old fear and 20-year-old patterns. She knows it's not healthy for her nervous system, but she still acts that way. She's stuck in her brain analyzing. She basically fell into this map trap. Have you heard about map trap? Map trap is just because you have a map doesn't mean that you are at a destination. Just because you have the knowledge or information doesn't mean you are a healing. Information is not a destination without embodiment. You can read thousands of books and watch thousands of podcasts and understand why everything in your life happened the way it happened. But if you don't take action, if you don't embody your emotions, if you don't incorporate those emotions, those informations are useless in a way. This calls intellectualization. Your brain is a genius. It realized if it keeps you busy analyzing the fire, you don't have to feel the heat. So let's go deeper. We have two separate systems. The one is the cognitive mind. That lives in your prefrontal cortex. It is logic. It likes labels. It loves to analyze. It loves to ask why. And then the second one is a somatic body, your unconscious. That lives in your nervous system. It doesn't speak English, it speaks sensations. It speaks emotions. It speaks feelings. So when you say, "I understand my parents, they didn't have the tools to act different," this is just a software patch to your brain. It's just an information. And your body is still the 7-year-old waiting for a hug that never came. Your body remembers everything. You are in a frozen state. Your body cares about safety, not your awareness, not your information, because the information doesn't bring the release that you need to do in your body. Let's look at it way easier. Imagine you have a security guard. You have security that is with you all the time, and that is your vagus nerve. When you were hurt as a child, the security guard hits the panic button. That means you experience a threat. Your body experiences a heavy emotion, heavy threat, so your muscles tighten. And the tension is still there. Now, 20 years later, your mind said, "Oh, I forgive them. It wasn't such a bad experience now when I'm looking at it." But your security guard, your vagus nerve, hasn't checked his email yet. And he still doesn't understand that just because you have that information that the safety is supposed to happen in your body. So your muscles are still tense and you still get triggered when something similar happened in your life. Your security guard is still standing there with his fingers on the panic button, keeping your muscles tight and your heart racing because it didn't fully process the emotion. And we have to understand that conscious mind and unconscious, the nervous system, are two different systems. So that knot in your stomach that you have every time it goes to your parents is a physical memory. And you can't talk to a knot into untying itself. So what I'm saying here in a simple way is that you have to connect to your body in the triggering situation, not to your analytical brain. You have to connect to your body in the triggering situation. The analytical mind won't help you there. We have to show the body that it's safe. We stop the processing and we start the integration. We move from the library of the knowledge and awareness into the engine room where everything is running subconsciously. All the reactivity or the behavior that you do is coming from your nervous system. So how do you heal this? First step, find the heat. Next time you are triggered, close your eyes, stop the story of your mind. Why is this happening? What can I do in this situation? Find the sensation. Is it in your throat? Is it in your chest? Is it in your gut? Is it in your whole body? Are you suddenly shaking? Find the sensation. Second, it is a 90-second flash. Pure emotional chemical flash lasts about 90 seconds. If it lasts longer, it's because you are thinking it back into existence. If you just feel the raw, shaking, the heat, the pressure, it will move. The emotions, if you give them a space and awareness, they will move. So step 3 is the neurogenetic shake. Animals in the wild shake after they escape a predator to rest their nervous system. Even your dog, if you have a dog at home, you can see that after an uncomfortable situation or whatever too much of emotion, they shake it off. Humans are the only animals that stop themselves because we think it's weak. We stop releasing this emotion. We stop connecting with the body. We no longer release the trauma. We no longer release the weird emotion. We just try to analyze it. It's a simple shake can change your whole life. If you feel resentment rising, I want you to literally shake your arms and legs for 60 seconds. Don't think, just shake. You are manually damming the stress chemicals. And step 4 is corrective experience. Knowledge is passive. Embodiment is active. You don't heal resentment by understanding your parents. You don't heal your wounds by understanding why they are there. You heal it by setting a boundary today that you couldn't set then. The body needs to see you win. I can share my personal story of my embodiment. There is so many somatic practices that you can do in a moment without looking like a crazy person. Of course, when you are at a family party and there is starting to be conversation about you and you feel like, oh my God, it's happening again, and you get this trigger moment, of course, you're not going to stand up and shake. I mean, it will be fantastic if you do that. But there are simple invisible practices that you can do to help you integrate that emotion and connect with your body. When I was starting my business, I went to the women's event networking and we sat all in a circle and we had to introduce ourselves of what are we doing, who we are. And I got so uncomfortable and I got so scared because I was exposing myself to the public and sharing my new identity, who I am right now. I actually wasn't really, the version of me wasn't fully embodied with that person. So I felt really scared that I may mess up. I get all these things in my mind and I started to sweat like crazy. It was my turn and I remember sitting there blinked and I was like, okay, I am safe. I'm going to expose myself publicly and everybody will know what I do and who I am. And I got so scared to be exposed like that and just say who I am because this is not safe for me. I was never being accepted of who I am. So sharing it in a group of women of who I am was very unknown and very scary for me back then. I was sitting there and I started taking deep breaths, simple deep breaths in my stomach. And I was feeling, okay, I'm trying to tell myself I'm safe. This is fine. This is who I am. This is my new personality. And I'm so excited to share with the world. But it was helping me a little bit, but I still needed something more. So I started to tap. I put my hands like down to my lap and I was start tapping on my hands. And I was like, I'm safe. I'm fine. I am protected. I am loved. I am seen. I'm ready to be seen. I was trying to sing this affirmation with a tapping movement and breathing into it. And it was so invisible that nobody could notice. And I started to regulate my nervous system and I got into the state of safety and peace, and it felt like I could trust myself again. And when it was my turn, yes, I was nervous, but it wasn't like that crazy sweatiness, that shakiness where I don't know even what I'm going to say. It actually flew very naturally for me, and it was fantastic. And then I felt so proud of myself for, experiencing it. And once you experience in that part, when is it over, you get the sensation of like freedom and like it feels so good. And then I was like, man, from now on, I just want to say to everybody who I am and what I do. So I want you to imagine your life 3 months from now. You aren't reading a new book. You've stopped digging and analyzing. You are in a party and someone says something that used to make you shut down. But instead of your brain going into the spiral of, I know why they said that, because of their Enneagram type. No, I just want you to feel the solidness in your legs. You feel calm in your heart. You speak your truth. You do whatever you need to do to calm yourself down and have that inner dialogue and add some somatic practices to it. You don't need to explain it. You just are it. Feel the emotion in your body and work with it. Repetition is the best way to heal. Even if that certain situation, anytime the same trigger or the same situation keeps happening to you, keep repeating the pattern until your body truly feels that you are in control. Maybe one event or one somatic exercise during that dinner time or during whatever triggering experience you're going to have, maybe that one somatic exercise is not going to help you because the trauma or the tension of your muscle is so deep that it has to release in stages. So allow yourself to keep repeating these practices and to keep releasing that tension and to keep connecting to yourself. So let it sit within you. Let it sit and embody the practices in your body. So you have enough information. You've done enough research. Next time you say, I understand why I feel this way, I want you to stop and instead ask, where am I feeling this right now? If you're tired of being the most self-aware person who is still miserable, it's time to drop from your head to your heart. Stop looking at the map and start walking the ground. Embodiment is the most important thing. So drop down from your mind to your body because that is where everything happens. Thank you for watching.